gotta be patient with me on this one. I'm gonna try to get video, but it might be jerky a little bit because I'm gonna be really paying attention. Basically, what I'm gonna try to do is carve his turn out. I blanked it last trip, but I remember looking at it, thinking it was pretty wide. And I got a track on that. Frank Johnson went down ahead of me, so I kind of a little reference. You know, I don't. Yeah, I like the carbone path, but it's yeah, it is what it is. Kind of seeing what the boat ahead of you does and see how he acts and see how he reacts to it. There's a little bit of pride involved following somebody else's track, but as you can see, I'm already deviating from it quite a bit. I'm sweeping down in here. He I don't know what he had. I think he had probably 30, and I think that's a triple screw. I don't know. He's definitely driving harder than we are, so it affects the way you handle these things. But I'm going to try to sweep down in here kind of deep, especially with this girl. I say sweep deep. Basically, I'm kind of sweeping down into the turn to make it not so much a sharp turn, but kind of, you know, picture race cars, how they come in high, they go down towards the turn, and then they come out high. You know, you're decreasing the angle of the turn by, you know, you don't want to hit that thing. I guess increasing the angle of the turn instead of decreasing.
Frank Johnson, Kelly, appreciate
do you want to kind of shape it out to try to make it not so, you know, not so, you know, sharp a turn. So what that means is I'll kind of let it go out. Now that I'm going to start pulling up, I actually want to pull up on that turn buoy. That's the one I want to pull up on. And so that's what I'm going to start doing. I give it rudder right here. And that's what? 1, 2, 3, probably the fourth buoy down, 34. 1, 2, 3, and 4 right down there. Well, somewhere.
Glenn Jones to Frank Johnson.
I'm gonna try to get it pulled around and pointed at that buoy. So what that'll do is that'll kind of draw that turn out a little bit.
Be all right to catch you on that one when we meet up.
It'll,
So down there around 67. Yeah, right there. That little
now then I'll start going ahead and pulling on around a little bit more. Start pulling around a little bit more and get pointed. By that time, it'll kind of slide me down in there, slide down in that turn a little bit, and I should be. The idea is to have your turn made high, and then letting it kind of fall down in there. I'm using. Yeah, I do realize that doesn't make a lot of sense when I say high. I'm kind of out, and then down is towards the bank. Is the way we. So I'm gonna pull when I say pull up on the buoys.
Security all stations. U.S. Coast Guard, Western River Spring.
I'm pulling up on those buoys, and as you can see,
reported at mile marker 663 on the left sending.
Coming around a little bit.
Mariners are advised to use caution
A little much. I come straight rudder, let her run on down. Straight rudder, let her run on down a little bit. She was pulling up pretty quick. We don't with 25 on this girl, and we're not running hard at all. I've got a lot of extra horsepower at my disposal, and she's really handles this tow really well. She's not bad. And like I said, I flanked this last trip down, and I remember thinking it would have probably been easy to steer. And it makes a difference having a boat going down ahead. That Frank Johnson going down ahead of you. It makes a difference being able to see, you know, kind of watching how the river dealt with him. You know, see, I was watching him come out the turn, see him pull around. You know, you use all the tools you have, man. Everything we have. Sometimes there's a little bit of prideful. There's a little bit of prideful stuff that we have. I was mentioning pride in that last video. Sometimes you get a little bit prideful, and it can cause you unnecessary hassle. I demonstrated that last night, but you know, that's those marks, running a track line and stuff like that. Those are, I'll just say it, man. Old school guys, man. I kind of am in that break in between. really from when we went from the digital, from the paper charts to the digital stuff. And I followed that transition. It's been a real interesting journey in my career. There's a unique few of us that have had that opportunity, you know, to transition from the paper to electronic charting. But that being said, there was a lot of things. Information was more guarded back when I started out. I mean, that was in the time of pilot's degree and stuff. And information, your knowledge was, you know, how you made your paycheck. And if you taught somebody else, I remember the whole theory of, you know, you're training somebody to take your job. I didn't see it that way, and I still don't. I've never, number one, it's the shortage. I mean, there's constantly a shortage of need for good wheelmen. So that's nothing I've really ever worried about too much, and it's never been an issue in my career. As I get older and I transition out of this position, I think it will, you know, I see that, but I welcome it, man. I mean, I want to pass, I feel it's a duty of mine to pass on information, because it wasn't, you know, that was stuff that was taught to me. That was information that was given to me. You know, marks and charts, and I mean stuff like that. It really was. Back in the day, it was more actually hand given. You were given somebody's chart. You could either copy or they give it to you. You know, stuff like that. And so, you know, that stuff was passed down. I mean, you know, and that tradition needs to carry. I think with the electronic age, it's easier to share information now, and that gets back to the whole tribal thing. The track lines and stuff. It's still a little bit. I know there were videos, some of my earlier videos on, where I wouldn't show track lines, and I wouldn't show information like, you know, other folks' info and stuff. You know, I don't advertise it now. I'm not going to sit here and show old Kenny's marks and stuff, but it's easily accessible information now. It's a lot more, you know. I kind of pointed up at that buoy a little bit. I don't let it fall down. Kind of let her fall down in here. Kind of let her see. When I say fall down, I'm steering down, counter steering a little bit off that buoy I'm shining at. Let that head fall down in there a little more. But timing, I don't want to let it fall too much. That's about enough. She'll fall down in there too much, I'll be outrunning that bank. But yeah, it really is it's a weird dynamic, you know, and pride plays a big part in this career. I mean, you know, if you didn't take some pride in your work, and I don't know, it's a complicated thing. I dove in deep there. Now here she's back there. Come on, steer on around there a little bit more. I'm gonna give her a little juice. We'll see. She's steering around there pretty good now. She's wanting to come on. I'll give her a little juice. That steer kind of stopped. I'll get a little bit of juice out of this girl. I don't want to play around. She's up on that buoy, but I want her to pull up on that last one. Have my turn made. Oh yeah, she pulling around now. She grabbed hold and come around. You must have got that head in some slack water or something. Boy, she grabbed hold right there. Right up underneath that buoy, that's what it was. Right behind, yeah, I see how she pulled. And I watched that Frank Johnson, he really was pulling down hard. He was running straight down the river once he got that turn made, so that's what I'm looking for. And that's what it's acting like now. I see how that is, how it's kind of pulling around to there, and then once I get down past that, she'll run straight. I see what it is. That bar breaks. That's the end of that bar right there. So once I get down into that, yeah, I see what she does there. Once I get pulled around on that buoy right there, I'll run her straight, and there where we want, and then pull her down and make sure she doesn't hang out there on us. She pretty little tight little turn. I mean, I'm taking up all of it, I'll say that. Now then, I got to watch that swing. Really got to watch that swing, because it can get out of hand real quick. I want to probably start. I'm running straight rudder now. Let that head run out. Try to drive out a little bit of that swing. And then what I'll do is we'll just see how it goes. Right now, I'm seeing if I need to steer around a little bit. I don't think so. I think I'll be counter steering before I'll be doing anything else, because she's swinging around there pretty good. And it's not going to slide. That river's going to be running straight down river right when I get to that bar. So that bar is already that sandbar. It's basically not going to be any water hitting me on the side at all. It'll just be what kind of slide I steer into it. But I'm going to have you time that counter steer out enough to where it'll lift that butt, and then you've got you're looking down river then. And you know that predictor kind of gets a little iffy watching it. It looks really great right there, but you don't have much at head or stern's going to be falling when you're in that position. That's the only issue. You got to those predictors are great, but they do have their limitations. Because that's a predictor if everything stays just like I'm doing, and I'm constantly changing and steering on this thing, so it's that thing's not gonna be an accurate prediction of exactly where I am. If I don't take action, it will be pretty good, but I'm constantly taking action, so it's going to constantly be adjusting and moving. Now that I'm watching where I'm at now, see, the head's out there on these buoys, and that's going to be dead slack water right under that buoy. And then my butt's going to be, that's where you got to watch it. My butt's going to be over here in the current. So you don't want to get it to swinging, and then, you can't stop it because you got all that momentum plus current hitting you across the stern, and then your head's out there in dead water or catching underneath one of them. Yeah, you can get in a problem. You catch that slack water up underneath these turns, and they call it hanging the head. I'm not in any worry about that. I think we're looking good, man, right now. I think I about timed it. My idea is to kind of straighten that out and be looking, I got a little point, but now just kind of letting that fall down in there. We've got a lot of room over here to work with, see? So what that'll do is that'll help basically cushion that, that slide as I run the straight rudder, and then let her just kind of drive on down. Now, pretty much it. I hope the camera work was all right. But that's how you steer Huey. I don't know what stage it is. I stayed off the buoys. I didn't really get up on them too much. I got up what I needed, but I never saw anything shallow. I know nothing caught my attention. Of course, I wasn't looking at it myself. I was watching. We got the 10-foot alarm set. I ain't hearing nothing go off. But I do look. That's one of those things that I know I was glancing at it, but I've got really key markers on everything that I look at. And I know my eyes sweep through and see all, hopefully, that I need to see. But yeah, now she's just driving on out. I can kind of ease off this throttle a little bit, get her back down to our cruising speed. Now that we got the turn navigated, and that's how you do that. That's steering around Huey. I think that worked out just fine.